Back on Buckeye Talk, getting ready for Ohio State football season opener Thursday at Minnesota. It's time for our game predictions. We're giving you our predicted score, our winner and loser for the Big Ten season opener for Ohio State. Steven, what is your prediction?
42-17, Ohio State wins. I just think at some point in this game, the talent's going to show up. We've seen it in the past two seasons where maybe it's close at some point. Florida Atlantic 2019, Nebraska 2020, where maybe it takes a little bit of time. Maybe it's 21-17 in this game at one point, but eventually Ohio State's offense is going to click. There's too many weapons. And at some point, Minnesota is just not going to be able to keep up, even if this Ohio State defense isn't necessarily up to par the way maybe it should be quite yet. But Ohio State's just a much more talented team, and eventually that shows up in whether it's the second or third quarter, we see it start to pop.
By the way, I forgot to say this up front, but as of the time of recording this, Ohio State is a 14-point favorite for this road game at Huntington Bank Stadium. I'm taking Ohio State to win 34-16. That's actually not that different of a score than Steven's picking. It's basically like one less touchdown for Ohio State. I'm giving Minnesota some credit for being able to move the ball on the ground and maybe take up some clock in this game, keep the ball away from Ohio State. But similarly, I guess I kind of think it might play out the way Ohio State's win at Penn State did last year, where Ohio State can build a win early and then just kind of salt this win away in the second half, run behind its offensive line with the multitude of guys it has in the backfield. I think we'll get to see them open some things up. I'm sure Ryan Day will find some creative ways to get the ball to Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. And sometimes you don't even need creative ways. Just get the ball in those guys' hands and they can do good things with it. So I'm picking 34-16, which would cover that spread as well. Doug, what is your prediction?
Same range, 38-21, a 17-point win. We're all basically on the same page here. We don't think Ohio State's going to drop a 60-point bomb on them, but we also think Ohio State covers. I think Minnesota's okay. I think a really veteran offensive line with 5 returning starters is real. I think Mo Ibrahim as a running back, who was the best running back in the Big Ten last year, probably is real. They're going to try to control the clock. I think Tanner Morgan, when he has weapons, and I think he has a couple of them, has a chance to do something. I think they'll get the ball out of his hands. So I don't think this is a game where Ohio State's defense will shut Minnesota down. But just repeating what you guys said, the explosiveness factor for the Ohio State offense is just something that basically nobody in the Big Ten can account for. And every game we analyze in the Big Ten this year is, what do you do with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave? How do you slow them down at all? How do you score with them? And I'm not sure our analysis is I think we're going to repeat ourselves until somebody does it. And I'm not sure who's going to do it. And I'm not sure anybody's going to do it until you get to the playoff. And until you have an answer to that, either an outscore answer or a slow down answer, how do you not think the answer is going to keep being Ohio State? And it certainly is the case that we all think that right now.
Yeah, I think the only way it changes, honestly, is if we find out CJ Stroud is not as good as we think he should be this year. Mm-hmm. That's the only way it changes. But even within, there's a 5-star quarterback waiting behind him that can change that.
Good point. We will all be there in Minnesota on Thursday night. Sign up for the text 614-350-3315. We will be sending out pregame intel before the game. We'll be sending out intel during the game, and come back to Buckeye Talk. Find it wherever you find podcasts. We will be having a post-game podcast that night with reaction from Ohio State's season opener.